Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you guys for hopping on. I hope you all had a great holiday weekend here. Some time away, or at least some time to relax. I know I got to talk to a few of you guys in one-on-one meetings today. But it sounds like everyone's been having a pretty busy summer, either with class or work or things like that. So hoping that at least this past weekend you guys were able to rest up a little bit. Tonight, we're going to kind of go over some things, and we're going to kind of talk about the next few weeks coming up and what we're looking at and what we're planning and everything else. And so as the last kind of 4 to 5 weeks of team meetings have been very much about, okay, like how did the year go, like setting up our summer and making sure like we took care of everything for this past year. Now that we're into July and we're kind of at that halfway point of the summer, it's going to very much shift towards, okay, what are we doing to prepare ourselves for the year? How are we getting ourselves ready? Because it's very much the mindset of, we don't wait until the school year starts to get rolling with everything. We don't wait until the school year starts to be ready for everything. You know, when the school year starts, we're hitting the ground running in the sense of, practices and everything else. And so it's how we're preparing ourselves in the water, out of the water, but also then mentally as well, in making sure that we're ready for a full school year, a full season. It's the first time in 2 years that we're having this, and it's going to take some time. And so if we can now start to prep a little bit more, that's what's going to really kind of help us be prepared in the best way for what we're looking to do. And so just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking to kind of do for this next few weeks, today we're just going to kind of go over a bit of the master schedule for the school year that I'll send out tomorrow. And then we're going to kind of break off into small groups just to kind of catch up with each other. We've got some of our incoming freshmen on here as well, so they're going to be able to be paired off with you guys. Some of you guys have never even met them. And so just a chance to kind of talk with them and start to get to know your teammates a little bit more, as I think we're more excited than ever that we get to do like true in team stuff this fall, where we weren't able to do that last year. And so we just want to start with it right off the bat. And then as we kind of wrap up today with those things, going into the next few weeks, next Tuesday night will be a workshop with Sarah, our sports psychologist from Millennium. And she'll kind of be talking to us about, what's our motivation over the summer? What's driving us this summer to get ready for the year? What's holding us back from really pushing ourselves to be successful? Then the weeks after that, kind of from July 20th until the beginning of August, we're going to be doing some different workshops. Some of it will be a book club stuff. Some of it will be broken up between the men's and women's team. And it'll just be time for us to really kind of come back together as a team, start focusing in on our vision for the year, our goals for the year, and what we're looking to accomplish as a team. And then we'll have another workshop the week before school starts with Sarah again, really kind of focusing on how do we start this year, this season off on the right foot? How do we prepare ourselves to make sure that we don't get behind or we're feeling overwhelmed or like we're playing catch up on everything that's going on? And so these are things that over the last few weeks as coaches, we've been kind of setting up and working on and planning. And we feel like if we're able to stay on the same page and work through everything, it's going to really help us set ourselves up to have an even better year this year. And so that's what we're kind of looking at. But to kind of start things out, let me share this with you guys here. Or actually, I think, Susan, would you be able to share the master schedule since I made you the host?
I can try. I'm having issues here. Sorry.
If not, guys, just to kind of give you an overview, for the master schedule that I'm sending out, it's going to have everything on there from move-in day to first day of classes to different holidays that we have throughout the year, different breaks throughout the year, finals weeks, all of our competitions, obviously. But then some of the other smaller things that either we have forgotten about in the last 2 years, or for our freshmen and rising sophomores, things that you guys haven't experienced yet. One of them being our big shoulders competition in September. That's back. This is an event, a fundraising event we put on with our master's program every year that raises a lot of money for our program. So that's very early on in September. One of the other things we have on here is some of our recruiting weekends, as we're going to be able to start having official visits again this fall for recruits. And so we'll be bringing recruits onto campus on different weekends throughout the fall with what we're trying to do. And hang on, let me just change something real quick here. And so that way, you know, they're able to come see us, they're able to be with us. But really what we ask for the recruiting weekends is that the people on the team here are here during these times. And that way that the recruits are able to meet everyone on the team. And so if you see a weekend that says recruiting weekend on it, we're asking you to keep that as a weekend, you know, that you're going to be here on campus and everything else. Obviously, we practice on Saturdays unless we have a competition on Saturdays. And so, so that's just something that you got to remember, that even if it doesn't say it on there, we practice on Saturday mornings. So we expect you to be there during the season and everything else that we've got going on. Hang on, I'm just trying to figure out this stuff with Susan right now. There we go. So here's the schedule as you can kind of see it here. We've got the move-in day, that's for the freshmen. For our upperclassmen, I know especially our juniors and seniors who have helped out in the past, you know that in the past we've been able to be at JST and help them move in and everything else. We will be able to do that again this year. So we plan on having a lot of our upperclassmen there for move-in during this time, and to be able to kind of help out with all that kind of stuff. First day of class is August 23rd. Labor Day weekend, we will not have practice Labor Day weekend. That's Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, so that'll be a weekend that'll be off. That Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, is when we'll be officially starting practice, and we'll talk more about those practice times and everything as we get closer to the date. That next Saturday is the big shoulder swim. That's kind of a close to all-day thing. We start that day at 5 in the morning, and we go till about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, just with all the setup and teardown. To give you an idea, for those of you who don't know this race, it's a 2.5K and a 5K open water swim we do at Ohio Street Beach. We opened up registration this year for 1,200 racers, and we sold out in 5 hours. And so this is a very popular race that we do. You can see 2 weeks after that, we have a recruiting weekend, which also that weekend we'll have our men's versus women's scavenger hunt starting up again that we haven't done in a while. The week after that will be our red versus blue meet. So that whole week leading up to it will be our red versus blue week. That'll also be a recruiting weekend. 2 weeks after that will be another recruiting weekend. And then we start up our competitions at Northwestern, home against Milwaukee. That home against Milwaukee meet will make it a small recruiting weekend. It'll just be all day Friday and half the day Saturday. They'll leave after the meet on Saturday. And then the week after that, we're going to be at Oakland. And then the biggest thing right now that's kind of still up in the air is we're waiting on the approval from IUPUI and when they're going to be hosting the House of Champions Invitational. But we plan on going to that one. It's either going to be the weekend before Thanksgiving or the week after. And so we're just waiting for them on that, so we can kind of plan everything around those things. You've got Thanksgiving break in there, which normally we'll have practice that Wednesday. So Wednesday the 24th, we'll have morning practice and then send you all home from there. And we just ask that you're back on campus ready to go for morning practice that Monday after Thanksgiving. You can see finals week is there, the 6th through the 10th. And then we'll have winter training here for those kind of 2 weeks before the holidays hit. Like I said, with this year and still kind of some of the unknowns with COVID and everything else, we won't be doing training trip this year, but we'll be having training here. We're working on some different things for that time, but just plan on being here for the training and everything else. You guys will be able to go home then after morning practice on the 23rd. And then we ask you to come back on the day of New Year's Day. We'll have practice that afternoon. And the reason why we're asking to come back on that date, not a day later, things like that, is because just a few days after that, we've got our competition against Cleveland State and IUPUI, and that will be a 2-day competition. And so we want to make sure that we're ready to go. For those of you who maybe don't have the training facilities back home, things like that, we're giving you the training to make sure that we're ready to jump off in January, because it's going to be a fast month with a lot of racing, as you can see. So we've got a 2-day meet with Cleveland State and IUPUI here. And then the week after that, we've got also Southern Illinois here on Friday, University of Green Bay, or Wisconsin Green Bay here on Saturday. 2 weeks after that, we'll be at University of Chicago. The week after that, our diving team will have their invite here. And then 2 weeks after that, we'll be getting ready for our conference championship. So the second half of the season is going to go pretty fast with competitions and everything else that we have. I will be sending this out as a link, and I'll send it out in email tomorrow. So you guys can save the email, bookmark it, bookmark this link, because as things might change or we get a few more details on, let's say, different holidays or days off from the NCAA or things like that, I will always be adding it to this master schedule. It's the same link I sent out to the returners a few weeks ago. It's the link that our staff uses. So this is something that, as I send out tomorrow, copy and paste it, send it to your family, send it to your parents, as this will be kind of an all-knowing schedule. So when they ask about when you can fly home for holidays or trips or things like that, this has got everything right here, so you understand when you need to be here or when the breaks are or everything else that's kind of going on with it. So any questions at all about the master schedule or anything else that's on there or maybe not on there? Okay. Other than that, like I said, we will have our workshop next week. One of the other things that we're going to be looking to have over the next few weeks is Brian on here to go over the medical forms, to start talking about physicals and everything else. Freshmen, I know I sent an email out to you a while ago, and one of the notes I put on there is every athlete at UIC must get a physical before they start practice in the fall and everything else. And that physical has to be on campus here with our sports physicians. And so I know some of you said, well, I can get it back home with my doctors. It needs to be here, so there's no point in setting it up early back home or anything like that. We'll set it up for you here once we get back. Brian will let me know in the next week or so, for those of you who are on campus, when they'll start doing physicals for people, so you guys can kind of get that out of the way before everything else kind of starts and goes on with it. But outside of that, are there any questions about anything else that maybe we haven't gone over or that you guys may be wondering about as I kind of put these groups together?
Tim, just quick question. I know like this is like mainly for the people who've done big shoulders before. Are we going to be able to swim in it this year?
It's all going to kind of depend the day of. Some of it is in years past, the water temp's too cold and I just won't allow you guys to do it, or it's been too choppy or things like that. Honestly, and Susan, you can back me up on this, I think in the last 7 years, we've had to cancel it 3 times because of either weather or something else going on. And so I wouldn't, I say never plan on it, because we do need to make sure, and the priority is that we have all the work we need to be done. And with having half the team never done this before, it's just going to take some time with it. So if it is, it'll be a game time decision if we do it. Any other questions?
Is it like a hard no on training trip, or like, could there be a 1% chance?
Hard no, it's already been decided. Almost done here. All right, guys. So I'm going to break you guys off into different rooms. A few things I ask. Number one, if you can, put your video on. That way people can actually see you and know who you are and all those kind of things that'll really help. And second thing is that you listen to your teammates, especially the new ones, or for those of you who are new, listening to the older ones. But really, I just want this to be a time where you can introduce yourselves. Basically, do three things. Introduce yourselves, talk about what you did over the 4th of July weekend, and then list one thing that you really want to accomplish this year. It can be in the water, it can be out of the water. Just make it simple this week. So again, who you are, what you did over the 4th weekend, and then what you want to accomplish this year, whether it's sport related, school related, or anything else that you got going on. Okay. All right, guys. So I will put you guys into your rooms right now.
Sorry about that, Tim.
No, you're good.
My computer is still kind of being goofy because I was trying to do it on this
Yeah.
and it wasn't. Stuff
But that's why I saw that there was 2 of you, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
That's exactly right. So, oh well.
yeah.